Saturday, January 28, 2023. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of how I set up my Puppy Linux box. Now, what got me interested in Puppy Linux again, or Linux again, was this book here. Because when it comes to command line stuff, Linux, Unix, are the reigning champions. Okay, because Unix really was built as a command line operating system. Okay, because it contains tools like awk and set and cut and sort and unique and on like that. There's lots and lots of really great tools. Okay, but now tonight the session is going to be about Puppy Linux. So let's go to your favorite search tool, search for Puppy Linux, go to Puppy Linux Home, go here to download. The version I find is working best for me is this Ubuntu Focal 64, the Faucet Pup. Okay, so you go there, you download that, your favorite to your local spot there. And you can see we have it over here. Okay, and there it is. And now we're going to open up VirtualBox. Go to New. Let's see. Oh, what are you going to call it? Demo, okay. We're going to select our ISO. We don't know about that, but we'll see what happens. That. Version of Linux 345 64-bit. Linux. Ubuntu. Let's say it's 10.4. I'm not sure it makes any difference or not. Now, what's its base memory? We got 16 gigabytes of memory, so let's give it about 8 gigabytes of memory, okay? CPUs, let's give it 4 CPUs. All right, next. This size, let's go to about 12 gigabytes, should be okay. Let's make it even 15. Oops. Let's say 15. Oops. Okay. You pre-allocate full size, yes. Go to next, finish. Do start. Let's say scale. The scale gives us the full screen, okay? So let's expand this out. I'm going to try something a little different here. I have been using Grub for DOS, but I'm not going to use Grub for DOS this time. Let's expand this thing all the way out here. No, we're not actually going to set the clock and stuff yet. We're going to say, okay, because right now, setting these things won't do any good because we'll only be setting them to the ISO image. So the first thing is what? Come over here, setup, system, hearted, all that, yeah. And we'll come over here, we're going to say device, right, partition table, apply. Come back over here, let's do a partition. Now, normally I would set up a swap partition, but it really isn't necessary simply because you got 16 gigabytes of RAM. And but we do have to set this back to everything's going to be deleted on the disk, so that's okay. And the last thing we have to do to this partition is we have to set it as a bootable partition. Now, a little warning, I'm going to try something a little different here today, okay? And normally I use what's it called? Something for DOS, grub for DOS. But I'm not going to use grub for DOS this time. I'm going to try to do it, see what we can do with a different system, okay? So that should be all finished. Well, we have to come one more thing. We have to have a boot partition, okay? Set the flag, set its boot, close this, close that. Now do install. Installer, this drive there, that's right. This, to this, install that. We have to do this twice. I'm not sure. What I'm hoping is that I can install a different bootloader directly into the partition itself. Would you like to know one? No. Now at this point, this may not boot. Okay, this may not boot. Okay, so this is a warning. This probably isn't going to boot because you don't have any type of boot partition in it. Okay, shut down. I'm not going to save this at this point. Settings, storage, remove this. Now, will it be able to boot itself? I don't think it's going to boot. Okay, see, it's not doing anything. Let's see if we'll see the kernel. A critical error code will run your machine. Let's ignore that for right now. Yeah, see, it's not going to boot because there's no boot program in there with it. Okay, let's just go and shut this down. Now, there's probably a way to get in there and save that, but I don't know what it is. Let's just remove all this then. Let's just start over again. Okay, what you saw is it's like a 10-minute install. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of such FOSSA. and this ISO is called FOSTA. So that should tell us that this is actually based on 2004 processor. Let's give it 4 processors. Size, no, not quite that big. 1250. Let's just give it an even 15 again. Okay. Pre-allocate size. Next. Finished. Let me go and give you one recommendation while we're sitting here. That is, once you get your system set up the way you want it, okay. Once you get the system set up the way you want it, go to your user file, scroll down. You think it's there, but it's really not. That's something else. Scroll down, and here's where the machines actually are. And what I suggest you do is, once you get it to the point where you're satisfied with it, make a copy of it. That way, if something happens to this image, like a crash or something, all you got to do is delete that and recopy and uh, copy and paste the new version of the file in. Okay. So let's do this now. Let's do a start. I've run into that situation a couple times. You can't, and if you have to like force the system to shop, chances are you're not going to be able to boot it up again, and you have to start over again. So I would say, 2 things. One, yeah, make a backup copy of the file. Every time you make changes to it, make a back. Every time you make a change that works, okay, make a backup copy. Two, use something like use GitHub to store a lot of your code and even maybe some of your data in. Okay. Now, also to give you a heads up here, a lot of times I have to boot it 3 or 4 times to boot it 3 or 4 times to get the system to come up for some reason. I don't know why it is. That's just the way it is. You shut it down, you get a kernel panic, you shut it down again, you get a kernel panic, you shut it down again, kernel panic. Finally, the 4th time, the system boots up and it's fine. Okay, so we're not really going to change anything at this point. Settings. We're solely concerned with getting the system installed. At this point, if we make a change, it isn't going to keep because it doesn't know about the file system. So let's see. We'll do an install. Do this. Do this. This. Yeah, we can do departed. You can also do it from the menu, by the way. Okay. Go over here, do device, create partition table, apply. Okay. Uh, Partition, new partition. Yeah, let's just add this. Okay. So we're going to. Now, if it asks you if you want to create a swap partition, you can either say yes or no. That's many for older systems. Say we only have, if you have an older system, it only has maybe four, 2, 4, 6, or 8 gigabytes of RAM, or less than a gigabyte. Yeah, you want to use a swap partition at that point. Okay, we highlight this, do a flag, close, close this. Okay, yes, we want to install to this package right here, right there. Now we come up here to where the partition is and do this. Do you want to choose? Yes, we do. This says what? Puppy is going to be installed into a partition SDA1, which is currently mounted in the path mount SDA1. As this will be a frugal install, you can choose to place the puppy files in the folder. This is very convenient if you would want to have more than one installation of puppy. Even if you only have one installation of puppy, it may be good to have all the puppy files in a single folder. But that's good. Let's see. Yes, that's installed. That's a mistake we made the last time, so I wouldn't actually install. I couldn't actually boot. You have to have some type of boot program in there. There we go. Okay. Now, now you can manually set up grub for DOS. Well, we set up grub for DOS. At this point, we should be okay. So let's just take a. So now, what we want to do, we want to shut down, unmount the ISO image, and boot back up. We're not going to save this time. Oh, good. So that time it shut down cleanly. The question, will it start clean? That's the question. Oh, we forgot to hang on. Okay. We have to remember to unmount the storage, the ISO file, okay? Okay, this way it's going to try to boot from the partition itself. Will it boot up the first time? That's the question. Or will we get a kernel panic? Like I just want to give you a heads up. Sometimes it doesn't boot for like 2 or 3 times. Okay, so right now it's okay. This is a good sign. If you get this sign here, that means you should boot all the way up. Okay, but if you get a kernel panic, just close it down, reset. But if you know how to fix the kernel panic in VMware, yeah, by all means, you leave a note, leave a comment in the section in the discussion below. Okay. Now, if this bothers you, you have to boot it several times. Well, that's okay. I mean, it's up to you. You can also go out and install Ubuntu 20.04, which this is based on, by the way, uh, or some other a Red Hat or what you want to use. Okay. Okay, this is a good sign. So now we go and make some of our final setting changes, like our screen resolution. We can set the clock. We can set the date. We can add some additional programs. Yes, we want to run this. So now come here now, we're going to say, nope, we're not in Great Britain, we're in America. Oh, we're going to do English, English in the US, English US, English US. That's our language. Oops. No, we are EN US. Sorry about that. Sometimes I wonder what is the actual, what's the difference in the language, between US and English from a system standpoint. And the reason we're changing this now is because the internet running spot. Uh, the reason we're doing this now is because before we weren't actually writing to the partition. We simply wasn't writing anywhere. Okay, we wouldn't have saved the changes. Okay, to this. Let's try to do. Let's try this. Yeah. Let's see. Permanent. Yes. Good. Okay. Synchronize clock to system clock. Sync to time server. Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's see. Restart. Okay. So now we got the correct time, the correct date. Don't need an internet connection. We got that taken care of. We got the correct time. Okay. And we got the correct date. Okay. And that thing annoys me to no end. But anyway. So now what do we do? Let's come over here to Puppy Manager. What is Redshift? That's a question for another time. Let's go over here. We're going to do a couple really quick installs. Okay, we're going to say I3. We're going to go because this is a we're going to go crazy and go with a little bit of what happens if we said dash. And you see, we got this here. It says this. I'm trying to avoid giving you any more stuff we need. Okay, good. So let me say do it. By default, it's using a window manager called JWM. I probably shouldn't do this, but let's install a couple other things here. Probably the only thing you absolutely have to install is just the i3 package itself. Now, so but in a moment, what you see is in order to switch desktop managers, we have to go into the slash Etsy slash window manager and change it to i3. Okay. One thing what you notice here is 3.8.2 is a pretty recent uh, version of Python, so that's good. Okay, so we have to install pipe in order to install or pip in order to install Python packages. Okay, there's one thing we'll try to look for here called Rafi, but I'm not going to actually going to try to do much with it today. Okay, I'm assuming if it's in the